Once you enter in this space, it's somewhere that you can actually have a reflective moment.
I felt so moved when I saw this piece.
Yeah. Ying's trying to sort of understand what memories actually mean to us. Of course, she's really known for these suitcases, the portable cities, which she's been doing since 2001, and she's made about 47 of them so far. She's curious about what actually we put in the suitcases. And for her, it's almost like mini homes that we carry with us wherever we go. Our identities and our memories all sort of being contained within this object. So that's why she kind of wants to explore that through this series of works.
Can you talk a bit about the materials that Yin uses?
So, she started using her own clothes, but quite quickly, from sort of early 2000 onwards, she started actually collecting garments from other people. And for her, it's like this idea of second skin, because, she really believes like what we wear actually carry who we are, the essence of who we are. So she's been collecting all these kind of garments from different people and then trying to build collective memories together.
Can you talk about this one? Because is it specifically made for this exhibition?
Yeah, absolutely. So often all these suitcases, they are related to places that she's been to herself or places that she has exhibited before. London is the latest one, and she made it specifically for this exhibition. So you see all these iconic buildings, the London Eye, the Parliament, the British Museum, and you can sort of identify all of them in the suitcase actually.
I love that notion of like second skin and then your third skin of like outward impression and how that affects you as a person. I've travelled so much, and the intersection of artists or people that come through London is crazy and so amazing. And I think most cities kind of have that cross-pollination.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, what's interesting is, of course, most of them are cities that we recognise, like Melbourne, New York, London here. But she's also, for example, the yellow suitcase. That is Dunhuang, which is the desert city. So it's not just this sort of big urban global centres. She's also actually interested in different places, I think, to try to explore what that means. And some of the suitcases actually got audio components as well. So for example, London one, she actually did recording on the street of London. So you hear actually the soundscape of the city as well. This is another new work that she made for this show specifically. And like you said, you can see, because with the installation, it's got mirror wall, so like you do actually have the illusion of having two hearts in the space, But that kind of reflected on the title of the way, Heart to Heart. And it actually belongs to a series, large installation that she's made called the Cavity series. So she's made different organs like stomach and brain, and all of which you can actually enter into, so they're a very immersive environment. Once you enter in this space, it's somewhere that you can actually have a reflective moment, to have a conversation with yourself. So that's why I think the title here, Heart to Heart, is not just about people having heart to heart with each other, but it's actually having a very sincere conversation with yourself as well.
Can we go inside these?
Yeah, absolutely. Just watch your head. Yeah.
Oh.
It's very special, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah. If you look up, she wanted to have this almost church-like environment in here.
I can feel it.
Yeah, so when we did the lighting, it was
windows.
quite specific. It had to be very bright in order to have a little bit of that effect as well.
I can feel that.
A lot of her works often is combining very sort of hard, almost indestructible materials together with very soft materials. And for her, she loves the tensions and the contrast of it.
I felt so moved when I saw this piece. I don't know, it really made me contemplate.
Yeah, I'm sort of quite chuffed to be able to see this work in person, because for me it's one of those sort of iconic works that she's made, one of her earliest works. As you can see, it's a sculpture, but it's also a performance. It's actually clothes that she's had since she was a kid. from her childhood to adulthood. And then she worked with her mum to sew all the edges together and then placed them into this box, this chest that was actually made by her dad. And then she sealed everything with cement. You know, she said something quite eloquent to me along the lines of cement is the material that build our cities, but clothes, they make us who we are.
And I think it's also like a time capsule, but it's like another element because you can kind of see it and it's recorded in a way, it's archived. I found it moving because it's like almost like a ritual or like a personal ceremony.
You're actually spot on because she sort of described it almost like a ritual that she was doing, and she felt like that had to be captured. So it wasn't intended for the public really, it was just her and her husband at the time doing it together. And like you said, it's very moving as well, her personal memories and histories.
What's the title of this work then?
The Ruined City, made in 1995, and it was only shown once ever. So this is the second time that's been shown. So I really wanted to present the work here. And the work was made in mid-90s, so it was a time that Beijing was actually experiencing a lot of changes. Its cityscapes completely been turned upside down really. A lot of buildings were being demolished. You will see symbols on buildings, a circle with a Chinese character inside and then a cross, a line across it, called Cai, which means to be demolished. And she felt quite sad about it, to be honest. For her it's almost a way of life being dismantled completely. So this is actually her reflection on that. But also she sort of understood the need for things to change as well. So it's not really just a critique of that, it's much more nuanced reflection on what it meant. And she's trying to understand that herself a little bit through the creation of this work.
So many different ways of interacting with our art.
I mean, that's what I meant, her practice is actually very expansive. Of course, she's really known for her soft sculpture using used garments, but actually it's much more than that, and that's my hope that this exhibition can actually sort of bring that out.